Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Phoenix Wright attorney. In the last episode we had Officer Meekings up at the stand testifying and showing us a videotape of the so-called murder, which turned out maybe not so much. And in today's episode we're gonna have Officer Marshall up on the stand, if I remember correctly, and see what he has to say. So without further ado, let's dive right back into it. February 24th, 12:14 p.m. This courtroom number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. Officer in charge regarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Where I suppose say this. If you see me like doing something like this, it's because I got myself a piece of candy. So I'm pretty happy right now. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner. I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trials of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersection when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the wind howling, your howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's J.H. Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Mildness the howling wind Edgeworth, yes. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime, the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? Desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain Old English. That's gonna be hard. My job was to keep a very eye on the bone orchard. They said it was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyways. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo this time, I hit the trail. It's time to hit the trail. I can't read, fucking hell. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowboy like you knows about those. Yeah, well, what about the fingerprint? What about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? It's not being very helpful. It's not that good with machines. Or with following orders. Everyone's got a weakness. Now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, it's all yours. The fuck are we gonna scramble out of that bunch of malarkey? What the f... How exactly do you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker in interred recordings? You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that use. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. Nothing unusual is recorded. Tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I erase a tape, it feels like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So actually, you don't physically enter the evidence room? But I made you runs on the day of the crimes, right? And you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets the rules get in his ways. No desperados I know join the police force. So Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There's a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? Used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day my locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensor on the locker room handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of the presence. Now that I mention it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it does seem like this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? I mean... Well... Wait... What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can be that parlous Bongole sepia pasta. You mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? No, Lord, desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. It's usually what Edward says. Did you not want to race this year? I mean, the thing is, he says that, but we found his prints in the blood. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. That's a really good partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is make my rounds about once a month. It's all natural that my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Also, did we ever mention it was fingerprints? Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I think you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's unnatural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained fingerprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it. The witness' explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be found without any doubt, partner. The defense may not cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Okay. That's because you... How did you pay it? To put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That... And one more thing. The locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using a fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Wait. What was it he said? Wearing gloves? How the fuck? Oh, hello! Thank you very much for Raidern. Hello, everybody. It's okay. There's a lot of people here now. Hello. Hey, did you have a good stream, Ern? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. Hi, Lily. How are you doing? Was a blood-stained scene thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. Yeah, a few decades ago, but it was fun. Hey, that's great to hear. That's right, it was fun on Detective Gumshoe's locker. Yeah, we're just having a Mr. Off. We're on the... Wait, how many trials have we had? We're on the third witness, second trial. We're questioning Marshall. You know, the fucking partner. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean... Oh, thank you much, Hero, for the follow. Welcome to my corner of the internet ocean. Hopefully you will enjoy your stay here. Very welcome. So that would mean... The murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. Hello. That's the only logical conclusion. I'm gonna do a thing in chat that is very much. There we go, perfect. For the people with better TTV, you can probably see that, but you that don't see it. So if you don't know, in this place we embrace cringe and in all of its forms because it's fun. Is starting to get in the picture, partner? A picture? The seal of blood. The desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. There's a fucking videotape again. Security tape. As long as my so long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Fuck me, I can't read. also a point. And that is very true. I embrace cringe and I can't read. That well. It isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. You are cringe. Of course I am. Of course I'm cringe. Do we just press this? What do you mean by that? You want to time me to this crime? Isn't that right, partner? Fucking... Not gonna lie, Marshall is the most fun. Like, people... person to, like, do voice for. It's very fun. So that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. Oh, I don't want to watch this video. No, this video is... Someone's familiar with the camera positioning. They would leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. I'll show you! I think. Very well. Allow me to... Wait, I might have an idea. Okay, this might be good. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. I make mistakes all the time, it's no worries. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. No, not the... We need to get out of here as soon as possible. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. No, not this music. We need to get out of here. Yes, that's not important. The thing I have... Okay, pan over once more. Okay, here. Let me out of here. Let me out. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake. I'm afraid you'll soon you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. See, I can't read. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Because the thing is that the thing that's sticking out that wasn't there before, it's in what's face? It's in his locker. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Oh, thank God it didn't. Oh, thank God it doesn't play the music. The locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Yeah, wait. Then you see Meekings on the floor. And boom, no cloth. Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Aliens. No. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Uno momento. Alright, sorry for that. Me mother came and said hello. All your hardness. Sorry, partner. But you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so I opened the locker and stuck it inside. Oh, stuck it in. Fuck. See, I can't read. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. I think Marshall... Well, I don't know. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. This ain't poker. Say I opened that locker. Now prove it. What do you mean? What do you mean prove it? What? What the f... Huh? Wait. I mean, take this. Fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. Okay, it seems to be correct. The lockers can only be opened by the detective they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. I mean, yeah, I guess Marshall is just one of them. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Oh, now I want some jerky, goddammit. I only got 1 word for you, but... One... No! I was gonna count how many words he said, just to be a dick. God damn it. Order, 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 witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. Can I have some of that jerky, please? I'm sure this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Can I have some? Oh, he's fucking struggling with that. Never mind, it might be fucking tough. Ole! Please. Ole? What the fuck? He's a fucking bull now. He's like, Ole! Just answer the question. Please answer the question. What is it now? A bullfight. I'm waiting for the objection. Yeah, no. That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? Seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. They want a possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was the Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? I mean... Here, right? Officer Marshall was standing right here. There? But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. It's the right music as well, so I know I'm on the right track. There's the objection. There we go. There you go, Aaron. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekin witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. More objections. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins didn't know of Detective Goodman? He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Right, because the picture is on the card. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Yeah, well that one makes sense, in that case. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, it were needed to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Yeah, oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Why is he allowed to bring food into the fucking courtroom, but I'm not? It's bullshit. You got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called Circumstantial Evidence. Circumstantial Evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complain. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ah, this can't be happening. It's obvious he's the one. What can I do? Oh, the music stopped Edgeworth? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Is he talking to me or Marshall? I'll pass on to you what someone else told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. Can't speak either, apparently. Jesus Christ. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. Or rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet it did, despite the change it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. Wait a minute. I think I have an idea. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is a key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Oh, this fucking music. What the wait. Isn't there something that... Wait. Oh, wait. Fuck. Go back. You can see all this. Like, he can walk out like this. He could never, like... Something fell out. Yeah. We've already established that. There was like... the locker was still open. There's like a sensor in between, so it has to be. And since it's an electric lock, it has to be an insulated thing. So someone put like a rubber glove in between to keep the thing open. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, but I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekings barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekings panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. I'm gonna take a sip to that. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, you were only half as persistent than as you are today. Oh, then as you are today. Fuck! I can't English today, I don't know what it is. We all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. Seems the time has come. Marshall's confession? Confession? I had to do it that day. Can you just stand by and let it die? I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Yeah, I don't know. I've cut my hand before. It doesn't bleed that much. Like, it bleeds, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't bleed that much. Holy shit. Let's just see here. When you say it, you mean... You even have to ask, partner? SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to completely end with a transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. The incident's not over. What did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I want to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why Then he stole the freaking thing. I mean, I'm just gonna continue pressing him. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera? The detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint. Fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. I mean, you can, but not to someone else. You can change your fingerprints from existing to not. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But it could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. I don't think it just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Yeah, like, that glove just don't happen to be there. It wasn't Officer Meek. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. Knocked him out, okay. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I don't plan on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I don't think anyone would actually come in there in that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. True that, Judge. He's taking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about this race next year. But I mean, I kind of feel bad for Meekins. He's not had a good week. He's not had a good week at all. I feel sort of bad for him. But I mean, he's kind of got it coming for himself as well. When did Edgewood get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry that it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked off the Meekins out and... Okay. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I don't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you blooded your code and you struggled with Officer Meekins. Someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing there at that time? What else? I was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day, and then... But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on the tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So, you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no I didn't. What do you mean, no you didn't? Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Yeah, it's missing. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. You can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Wow, you murdered this person. No bonus this year. You hear me? I was like, yes sir, if I'm cleaning his knife off or something like that. I was like, yes sir, I understand. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witnesses have an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. No? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about it, about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? I wish I knew as well. Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. The thing is, in my opinion, let's jump to that again. So why I think he can't forget it is because when I looked through this previously, there's this name right here, which is also, you know, a marshal. So Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you heard that name. 2 years ago. You received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? Must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SM9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. What's his relation to you? He was my brother. Well, yeah, I see it. I see it. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Yo, Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. It was that word and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. That's your reason for your insane actions? That's it. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. It was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, his mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. If no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me, this boy got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries at the police department have been solved. No doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Oh! Wait, I have a better one. Wait, I've been dying to try this. Wait. Perfect. I rest my case. Seems this trial has reached a conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. It's proving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize I would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... No. Okay, it's like where did Marshall go? Your Honor, wait! Emma, the defense has an objection. A scientific objection. I concur. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright? Are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, okay, I didn't get to finish that. Thanks you. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edward, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SM9 incident referred to the Yo Dark killings? Now that you mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day, so I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. I left only one thing, the other handprint. I mean, a trace of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Well, shit. Huh? Sorry. I guess I'm not too much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If you can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. Could be wrong with that handprint on the Gumshoe's locker. Could it be something I'm missing? I mean, there's only one option in reality, so you know, it's always objection. Like, what this handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes. This is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes. Something that, when drawn, would completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense is simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. Well, all this evidence here. There's gotta be something I can use. Question is, which item can prove something is missing on the floor plans? I mean, we don't see the blue badger on there. Please be right. What about a piece of plywood? Blue badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not here. So? So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well? Well, what? Aha, Edgeworth. That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at the spot on the locker. What? And the plot thickens. So that means... just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces was undeniably found in that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After they put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that's meaning this blood mark was left there before the blue badge was brought in? Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One thing was captured on this tape. Think about a security camera. Officer Mickey is cutting his hand, for which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. Yeah, because like there's no way in hell it's like someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. Oh. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found in the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jäger Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. And tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edwards said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? Wait. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh! The ID card record! Officer Meekins brought the blue badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 PM. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 PM. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth, what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out that it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. However, had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the shot again. Yeah, the fucking top one. Whoever that motherfucker is. There's only one on the card remaining, the 7 sevens. Talk about a lucky number. Wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 7 sevens. I'm just gonna say that. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present. What? Explain yourself, son. ID number 777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all like, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defending sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7 sevens. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I meant to ask. What I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing. About that incident. SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't... I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Well, Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Okay? What's happening now? See? That's what I'm talking about. No. Wait! I don't think you heard that too well, but Lana's and Mark's oh my... talk over the noise. Fuck. Why did it have to be so much noise? I want to play the Darth Vader. No, god damn it. Okay. Okay. So that's gonna be it for this episode. For the people on Twitch, if you don't know, I'm recording this at the moment. So I'm gonna do the video outro and then we're gonna probably end the stream here as well. So, we're gonna... I don't even know what we're investigating now. What evidence she forged? Question mark? I don't know. But that being said, thank you guys very much for joining me in this episode of Phoenix Wright 8's Journey. And I wish you guys a very nice continued evening, afternoon, morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So have a good one, everybody. Stay safe. I'll see you then.